By the grace of God, my name is Eneche James. I'm here to testify to God's preservation and divine deliverance from the hands of kidnappers and ritualists. On Friday, after the vigil, on Saturday morning, I decided to sleep in the church and wait for a while the day to break so I can go back home. So at about after 11, I went out of the church and I crossed over to the other side, the filling station Shafa, to board a vehicle. So when I boarded the vehicle, there were 3 persons in the vehicle, the driver, a lady at the front, and a man at the back. So when I sat down, I felt relaxed seeing a lady. There was no suspicion of anything. So just a bit further as we moved, the man at the back brought out a white handkerchief. I neglected it. I didn't even pay attention. I thought it was for his personal use. The next thing I turned, he just placed the hanky on my nose. Before I could drag, I dozed off. The next time I realized myself, I was in a room, tied hand to leg, my eyes blindfolded, and my mouth opened and tied as well. So I was hearing cry, mourning and weeping in the room, and I began to feel sorry for myself, as though that would be my end. And I began to remember all the testimony that has been coming from this altar and that this declaration. And then I began to prophesy to myself that I will not die, I will live to fulfill all my days. Where blood is wasted, mine will not be wasted. I shall not die like a chicken. And I was saying all of that, and I began to sing Daddy's song, You Are Always There to Help Me. And while I was doing that, few hours later, some steps came in, and I could hear the voice of an elderly man that could be around his 60s. The man was angry. Immediately he came in, he started asking that there is a strange atmosphere, that who was the last person that they brought into this room, and they pointed me. Immediately they pointed me. The man asked.
Now remember, his mouth was tied, so he couldn't sing out. So all those things were meditations inside his heart, and that man could perceive that those meditations right from his heart.
The man asked, where did you pick him from? They said Lugbe Aziz along airport road. The man shouted, how many times have I been warning you? That place is a danger zone. Don't go there to pick anybody. Immediately the man said that. The man said, if you know where you took him from, take him back. We can't do anything to him. He said that and he left the room. The second person in command, who is like the driver, the man said, if we can't use him, then we'll make him useless. He collected my phone. He emptied my account. I thought that was all. He now took me out. They put me in the vehicle. We drove for several hours. And when we're now approaching the airport road, he now asked the lady that was sitting in the front that she should tear my vein. She should cut my ribs. The lady objected that since we are dropping, what's the need for that? He now started shouting at the lady that, who are you to disobey me? Are you objecting my command? Are you new in this business? He was angry and shouting at the lady. The lady brought out a razor blade, attempted to cut my hand and showed him the blood. And after that, I thought that was all. The man at the back now brought out a syringe and injected my arm. Immediately he did that. As we just passed the place where those Macapolo used to park at the outside, they now dropped me off. My mouth was still tied, open and tied, so I could not talk. I was only mumbling. They removed the blindfoldedness and untied my hand and leg. As I attempted to move my feet was as if it were 20 persons' feet I was carrying. I couldn't move my feet and my hand, and I fell to the ground, hitting my chest on the ground. I lay down there mumbling words. All I could say was, help me. People were passing. Some persons were mocking. Some persons were scared. Until at about 10 p.m. already the commanded day midnight prayer was about to start. That was Saturday night. Then 2 women and 3 children from the market passed, and they heard me mumbling, and they heard just walk past. I didn't even know they were going to call for help. Then they went and met the federal road safety officers. 2 of them, they called them. They came, they saw me, they went to the glory gate. They called 2 security officers from the church. They came, they were on time. I told them to untie my mouth, I can talk. And when they did that, I explained, I identified myself. They made calls, they confirmed. Immediately they called the police. They came, took me to Federal Medical Center in Jabi. They took me there. I could not walk. They brought a wheelchair and wheeled me to the hospital bed, and they administered treatment. Immediately while I was there, I slept off. And in the dream of the night, while I was on the bed, I saw that he came and he was wearing his doctorate apron. And he came and he met me. I said, walk with me. I said, Daddy, I cannot walk. They wheeled me to this bed. He said, I said, walk with me. And immediately he held my hand. He took me out and we walked outside the hospital. As I woke up, the same manner, one Dr. Ibrahim that was in the hospital, he came and met me. He stood at the hospital bed. I said, I want to go and use myself. He said, can you walk? I said, I can try. That was how I was able to manage to come down from the bed by myself. I walked to the toilet, I eased myself, and I came back. And brethren, indeed, Dunamis is a home. My unit, my counseling unit, my home cell, everybody came to the church. Treatment was administered. They did X-ray because of the chest pain. The result came out. There was no injury. I am here to return all the glory to God.